For the co-founder of Sun Microsystems, the focus right now is not on tech, but on energy. I caught up with Vinod Khosla last week at Democratic presidential hopefuls Barack Obama's summit on economic competitiveness. He talked about his vision for the future of oil independence in America.
We're making great progress. I'm very optimistic that the major problems can be solved. We can replace gasoline with $1 a gallon biofuel made from non-food sources within 5 to 10 years.
How do we do that?
How do we do that? I think the technologies are well on their way, and the good news is there's not one technology, but there's probably a dozen technologies from all parts of the country and maybe all parts of the world that can achieve those kinds of goals. They can be competitive with oil below $50 and possibly even below $35 a barrel of oil. In fact, I'm the only one foolish enough to forecast oil prices at $35 a barrel by 2030.
You know, one of the conversations that comes up right now is all this offshore drilling, whether or not we should tap into ANWR, whether or not we should give a gas tax break. Are these all solutions that are just, frankly, not realistic in today's environment, and just suggestions or rhetoric right now at a time when we're seeing north of $4 a gasoline, and we need to adapt and change our habits?
I don't think we need to do radical things. I think we can live our lifestyle. But the solution Senator McCain has proposed, and I hate to say this as a Republican who supported Senator McCain during the primaries, that gas tax holiday or offshore drilling are just plain gimmicks. You know, if we did that, it's not going to make a bit of difference tomorrow, and it definitely won't matter 10 years or 20 years from now. And we need to keep our eye on the horizon, on the 10-year goal of getting this nation independent of oil. And the only way we do that is by finding an alternative to oil. Going after the Arctic wildlife refuge or going after offshore drilling is like a junkie looking for veins in his toes. That's really what Senator McCain is talking about. It is silly.
Why are you supporting Senator Barack Obama?
Frankly, I think he's very progressive in his thinking. And he believes in the free market system in the right way.
How so?
You know, most of his policies have been quite pro-trade, pro-globalization, while doing the right things to protect American interests and jobs.
Let me ask you this. You have done a couple of very interesting things in your career, a lot of very interesting things. You're one of the original investors in Google. You were the former chief executive officer of Sun Microsystems. When you look at this landscape, particularly what's going on in the internet community between Google and Yahoo and all this talk, what do you make of it? Where are we headed? Because you're the master of technology. Has Google got the right plan?
You know, I'm optimistic about what Google is doing. I definitely think they have a good strategy in a good position, and they're reacting rapidly. I want to go back to energy for just a second. Mm-hmm. Why I'm optimistic about energy is we are having innovators create new Googles in energy, and I think 10 times more innovation will happen in energy than happened, and many more Googles will be created in the world of energy. And Google is a great role model of how we will innovate and change the energy business.
Do you develop those companies by a combination of the government and the private sector doing it together, or is it the responsibility of the private sector?
I think it will be probably mostly the private sector. I actually don't believe we'll need a lot of subsidies. I think most of the subsidies will be fine if they go away. We will need the right policies. We do need to get some of these new alternatives kick-started. I'm a firm believer that no technology should be subsidized for more than 5 to 7 years, ever. And in that time frame, these alternatives will get to a scale that will allow them to compete with fossils. The interesting thing is once we have competition, instead of being held hostage by fossil energy, we'll have competition and cheaper prices for both fossil energy and the new renewable technologies. It's a wonderful vision of the future.
Well, I am going to leave it on that note. I like a positive outlook, so let me remind myself here. $35 for oil by when?
2030.